Hello and welcome to the Only One Formula YouTube channel. Today we are discussing Felipe Massa suing Formula One, the FIA and Bernie Ecclestone for around about $80 million. So what's this all about and what impact is it going to have on the sport? Now, to fully understand the picture, we really need to go back to 2008. So I have here a video from 2009 which explains what happened the year before.
Renault have admitted that they fixed last year's Singapore Grand Prix, but did they get away with it? Renault team principal Flavio Briatore and engineering boss Pat Symonds paid for it with their jobs, but the team is still in Formula One, and Fernando Alonso has kept the victory. Nelson Piquet crashed on purpose so as to bring out the safety car. This wasn't spying on other teams or lying to the stewards. This was endangering spectators, marshals, and his own safety. The only debate is whether the plan to crash deliberately was Piquet's idea or Pat Symonds'. Each one blames the other, so someone is still not telling the truth. Nelson Piquet's actions allowed teammate Fernando Alonso to reach the front and win the race.
So as a result of what happened in the 2008 Singapore Grand Prix, people started to question Fernando Alonso's legitimacy, whether the win was a real win or it was manufactured in a way that he was gifted the win and he didn't fully deserve it.
A lot of other people in the paddock last year, immediately after the race, suspected that there was something strange going on.
You still count that race as a proper race victory for yourself?
Yes, I do.
Even though the team effectively manufactured it?
Well, I think that's interpretation. There are many interpretations how you can win the race. That was in very early stage of the race, and it was a long race to do, and the car was performing well. I did no mistakes, and
as a result of Renault admitting that they cheated and fixing the race in 2000 Singapore, and the FIA and this governing body's not really handing down a very strict punishment or anything that was really worth mentioning, Renault got off scot-free. But the only thing that affected them was...
The team may have got off lightly in the FIA court, but Renault have been hit in the pocket by the immediate withdrawal of title sponsor ING. The financial services company didn't want to be associated with a team that cheats.
So to give this some context regarding Massa and why he's suing the FIA, Formula One and Bernie Ecclestone, Massa started the Singapore Grand Prix on pole. And yeah, he's fighting for the championship against Lewis the whole season. Starts on pole, things are looking good. Lewis started second, and after all the shenanigans of the 2008 Singapore Grand Prix, finished third. Whereas Massa, after a botched pit stop, he only finished 15th. So what's the connection here? Why is 2008 Singapore Grand Prix connected so heavily to what Felipe Massa is doing nowadays?
What does it mean for the future of Formula One?
I don't think it means anything. I think we now go on, we have problems from time to time. As long as we solve them and deal with them properly, that's fine.
The FIA believe they've drawn a line under the whole affair. Whoever else has bent the rules in Formula One, Renault's will live on as one of the worst cases of cheating in sporting history.
So what we need to do is we need to fast forward from Singapore 2008 to Brazil 2008, the final round of the season. Felipe Massa versus Lewis Hamilton. One of them is going to leave here world champion. Hamilton leads the championship by 7 points. He can take it. He just has to finish 5th or better, and Massa has to win the race. So yeah, a tough battle all round. Changing conditions towards the end of the race caused a frenzy of pit stops. And last lap, Massa, he crosses the line, wins the race, and he starts to celebrate wildly. Lewis is currently running 6th. I believe he's chasing down Sebastian Vettel. And I think Glock from 4th or so, I think it was, has an issue in the sort of second to last / last corner. Lewis squeezes past him into 5th place, and well, the rest is history. Now, I think the the killer scenes from that is watching Massa's family celebrating so unbelievably passionately that their son and their brothers and sisters, he has won the world championship in Formula One, for it to only be snatched away 15, 20 seconds later. It's heart-wrenching. It's horrible to see. So, to put it into perspective, Massa lost the world title. Now, 2008, Crashgate happened, but nobody really knew what had happened. There was a lot of political mess around Crashgate, and in 2009 it became everyone in the public eye became aware that this had gone on and Renault had cheated. Pat Simmons, Flavio Briatore and Nelson Piquet had conspired to affect that race to help Alonso win it. So it wasn't announced until 2009, and as a result of that, 2008, Lewis had been handed the Drivers' Championship. Now, there was a strange rule back then. I'm not even 100% sure if that rule still exists today, but the rule is that once the championship is finished and the trophies have been awarded, no amendments can be made. So, a year later, they announced that Renault cheated, but we can't change the results of the 2008 Grand Prix. Where it gets really heartbreaking for Felipe Massa is later, Bernie Ecclestone admits in an interview that he was aware in 2008, him and Max Mosley, they knew. They could have acted on it, but they didn't, for the publicity and the media that surrounded F1, and they didn't want it to impact the sport. However, if they had acted like they should have, the 2008 Singapore Grand Prix would have been cancelled, no points would have been awarded. Therefore, Felipe Massa would be your 2008 world champion. So, sorry, Lewis fans, but there's a lot of political mess going on here, and Massa feels that his loss of earnings, his loss of sponsorship and things like that has been drastically affected. His career has been drastically affected, and he deserves to be paid for those losses. Bernie Ecclestone said, Max Mosley, the FIA president, and I was informed during the 2008 season about what had happened in the race in Singapore. Piquet Jr. had told his father, Nelson, that he had been asked by the team to deliberately drive into the wall at one point in order to trigger a safety car period and thus help his teammate Alonso. Piquet Jr. was afraid for his contract extension, so he was under a lot of pressure and agreed. We decided not to do anything for the time being. We wanted to protect the sport and protect it from huge scandal. That's why I persuaded my former pilot, Nelson Piquet, to keep calm for the time being. Ecclestone admits we had enough information in the time to investigate the matter. However, we would have probably had to cancel the race in Singapore under these conditions. That is, for the championship standings, it would never have happened. Then Felipe Massa would have become the world champion and not Lewis Hamilton. I still feel sorry for Massa today. He won the final at his home race in Sao Paulo and did everything right. He was cheated out of the deserved title, while Hamilton had all the luck in the world and won his first championship. Today, I would have arranged it differently. That's why Michael Schumacher is still the sole record world champion for me, even if the statistics say otherwise. The statement from Felipe Massa's lawyers reads as follows. On March 11, 2024, Felipe Massa filed a lawsuit in the High Court in London, England, against Formula One Management Limited, Bernard Charles Ecclestone, and the FIA. Mr. Massa is seeking declarations that the FIA breached its regulations by failing to promptly investigate Nelson Piquet's Jr. crash at the 2008 Singapore Grand Prix, and that had it acted properly, Mr. Massa would have won the Drivers' Championship that year. Mr. Massa also seeks the damages for significant financial loss he suffered due to the FIA's failure, in which Mr. Ecclestone and FOM were also complicit. As Mr. Ecclestone has admitted, there was enough information in time to investigate the matter. In 2008, and cancelled the race in Singapore, Mr. Ecclestone further affirmed that, had the results of the 2008 Singapore Grand Prix been cancelled, Felipe Massa would have become the world champion, and that Mr. Massa was cheated out of the title he deserved. Attempts to find an amicable resolution have been unsuccessful, leaving Mr. Massa with no choice but to initiate legal proceedings. Recent events naturally demonstrate that issues of transparency and integrity in Formula One remain relevant, and it's clear that serious work is needed to restore its credibility and long-term future. So what I want to do is I want to understand I want to see how this plays out, and I want to understand how this affects Formula One as a sport. So, realistically, Massa was cheated out of a Formula One world title. And many are going to argue that Lewis Hamilton was cheated out of a Formula One world title in 2021 by Max Verstappen and Red Bull and the race director. So it's a tough debate for the sport. I don't know where to go from here, whether if the FIA grant Massa the world title and remove Lewis, are we going to see Mercedes in court with Red Bull battling over the 2021 title? It could get messy. It could be incredibly interesting, but for me, it's more publicity for the Formula One world, and that can surely only be a good thing. So I hope this helps you understand what's going on with Felipe Massa and why he's doing what he is doing. Let me know in the comments if you agree with Massa or if you agree with the FIA or you're a Lewis Hamilton fan and you don't want him to lose any of his world titles. I'm interested to see your guys' opinion on it. And thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you feel like you enjoyed the video. I'll see you on the next one.